Hello, and welcome to All the Trek, the show where I watch every episode of Star Trek until I travel back in time to 1969, just like every other sci-fi show. I'm your host, Bree, and today I'll be reviewing episodes 19 and 20 of Star Trek The Original Series. Episode 19, Tomorrow is Yesterday. The Enterprise gets stuck in a cosmic slingshot that sends them back in time to, you guessed it, 1969. The crew is stuck orbiting Earth, where they pick up a fighter pilot. They have to use logic and espionage in order to figure out how to prevent the US military from knowing about their existence. The introductory scene of this episode was very intriguing. It started out looking more like MASH than Star Trek. The biggest highlight of this episode for me was when they threw the Morticia Addams lighting on Kirk's eyes the first time he met the fighter pilot. I also really liked that when the fighter pilot saw a woman walking through the Enterprise, he said, "A woman?" And Kirk said, "A crewman." This is a pretty straightforward episode. They spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to time travel back home and hide their existence. They change history an itty-bitty bit, and everything ends up gravy. On a side note, Kirk's computer verbally harasses him throughout the episode by calling him dear in a sultry voice. It's inappropriate. That computer should have to go through a sexual harassment conduct training. 4 out of 5 stars. Without getting into too much detail, because there is a lot of detail, this episode was really fun and interesting, and I would probably watch it again. Episode 20, Court Martial. Star Trek can kind of be about anything. Usually they're off looking at alien planets and meeting aliens, but, sometimes they time travel too. And in this episode, they choose to be a boring courtroom drama. Captain Kirk is being court-martialed due to his apparent negligence regarding the death of a crewman. I'm surprised that we haven't already seen 5,000 episodes dedicated to Kirk being on trial due to the death of a red shirt. There's some pretty damning evidence against Kirk, but Spock figures out that somebody tampered with the computer. Kirk finds the crewman who faked his own death. The crewman kind of has this whole, if I can't have her, no one can thing going on with the Enterprise, but Kirk fixes everything, and everyone gets to go home happy. Except, of course, for the crewman. I saw the plot twist of this episode coming from a mile away. In fact, the only thing that surprised me about this episode was that they cast a 30-year-old woman in a transparent blouse to play a teenage girl. Throughout the episode, Kirk flirts pretty heavily with opposing counsel, and at the end of the episode, they kiss. Which is just like, what? Isn't there some kind of conflict of interest here? My biggest gripe with this episode was that they decided to tell and not show that the crewman gave up the information Kirk needed, which is just lazy writing. 2 out of 5 stars. Thanks for watching All the Trek. Don't forget you can click the link below to check out what Alice and Megan thought about these episodes. You should also visit educatinggeeks.com for more of our content. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and Google+. Join me next week for another Trek Tuesday. Live long and prosper.